introduces Miljen Aljinovic. Miljen Aljinovic.
Awesome, thank you so much. Oh man, how are you guys doing? Good? Is everybody, are we still together? Are we still in this? I got a weird fucking name, don't I? Miljen? That's weird. I'm from Eastern Europe, that's why I have a weird name. I was born in a country that doesn't exist anymore called Yugoslavia. It's Eastern Europe, right? So my parents, you guys might not know this, but all our grandparents went home after the Second World War and fucked. And your grandparents taught your parents some weird shit about communists, and they passed that on, and then my parents learned some weird shit about Americans. So like when I was a little kid, my mom was like, you gotta be careful with Americans. They're all obsessed with money. And I was like, that's a little generalized and rude, but then I spent 30 years introducing myself to people. Hi, my name's Miljen. Oh, like $1 million. A million of fucking anything, man. Pick a noun. What the hell is it with you people? Jeez, like, it could be. Yeah, I was born in Serbia. I don't know if some of you maybe like watched CNN in the 90s, you're a little older. A few of you probably played Grand Theft Auto 4, you know, like, hey cousin, you want to go bowling? You know, guys in tracksuits, smoking cigarettes, right? Genocide, human trafficking, yeah, that's where I'm from. Yeah. No, it's sad. My country was destroyed by a genocide, but you know, at least it wasn't built on one like some fucking people I know. So we got that going for us, which is nice. It's weird, like where I'm from, it's like the Alabama of Eastern Europe, you know? Like, it looks like Alabama, it's in the southeast, and like, there's a big city in the middle with a lot of museums and stuff. You go like an hour in any direction, it's like going 100 years back in time, you know? Everyone's got like a moonshine still in their backyard, and roasting whole goats, and they're really nice to your face. But yeah, like, you know, there's a lot of everyone there is so racist. We're all white, we still found a way to murder each other over it, you know, like, oh, well, technically, ethnically, here a little bit, speak a slightly different language for me. So like, you know, my parents, it was a very religious-based thing, and like my parents are atheists, so they were like, we gotta get out of here. Go somewhere where this kind of thing could never possibly happen again. It's going great, it's going great. Living in America my whole life, it's been kind of like, I was trying to find a good metaphor. It's like watching The Lion King with someone who's never seen The Lion King, you know? And the first half, they're like, oh, this is a fun movie about a little young lion cub and his dad whom he loves. And you're like, yeah, kind of. For a while. It's good, it's a good time. I went back home, because like I've lived here so long, I don't really even fit in back there, you know? Like there's like slang terms I don't know. Like you go to a fast food place and when they offer you the meal deal, they ask you sa akcijom, which literally translates to with action. And I was like, with action? What are we like taking bets on whether I'm gonna shit my pants or not? Like is this, you know, I got IBS, so the fix is in, man. Put me down for 10 on that action. Man, I never felt like I belonged. Like back there, I'm an American. Here, I'm a foreigner. I went to Italy for like a week, and I was really drunk one night with this guy, and I told him that, and he was like, "My friend, when you are in Italy, you're an Italian." Like that's all I do. Like at this point in my life, my preferred pronouns are we and us. You know, just so I can feel like I'm a part of something for like a minute. I just like, that's all I want. Just to feel like, first time I found my people, I was in high school and I started smoking weed and I like discovered books and music and friends and all this other stuff. And like it became my entire personality and that was cute for like 15 years. And, but then like weed became legal and it just ruined, I lost everything, man. Like, it was awful. Like the first time I went into a legal weed shop, it was like, I felt like one of those like punk or goth kids, you know, from the 80s. You know, the ones that like pierce their ears with actual like safety pins and shit. The first time they saw like a Hot Topic, like what the fuck is this? Like what did you do? You took my culture. You took everything that was ever mine and you turned it into like if an Apple store listened to like Sublime too many days in a row and had like a horrible transformation under the light of the full moon and oh, it's awful, I hate it. Where's the couches, you know what I mean? Like where's that dude named Cody that wants to talk to you about Primus for like an hour before you can buy your weed and like so that you're like, his name wasn't Cody, that was me. I was that guy. I lost everything. I was wearing a Primus shirt the other day, and this guy was like, "Hey man, nice shirt." And I've realized that when someone compliments your Primus shirt, it's their way of saying, "Hey man, I used to do a lot of drugs in college too." That was, it was a good time. Yeah, we get along. Yeah, that was like my whole. I'm getting older, man. That's what I'm realizing is I can't do the things I used to love to do. Like I was sitting on the couch the other day playing video games, smoking weed, and I threw out my back. I'm dead serious. I reached over to Ash and I coughed and like this thing tweaked out and like that's what happened. I turned 35 years old yesterday and my whole no, it's fine. It's okay. I threw out my back smoking weed. My whole life. Older stoners have told me how you have to inhale from the knees, and I thought that was like some stupid yoga shit. It's true. It's just good advice. I'm an old man now. I feel like I have advice for like the younger, like you have to make sure you do enough hallucinogens in high school and in college so that you don't end up in your 30s still talking about chakras like you really mean it, you know, or like calling weed cannabis. Like thinking Meow Wolf is like a cool thing and not a total ripoff for everyone that ever worked on any part of it. Little Santa Fe humor for those who know. There's like 6 of you out there like, I like Meow Wolf, it's fun. Going to fucking Burning Man at age 45, it's okay, it's fine. I almost ended up there, that's why I'm so. No, I think I'm gonna do good though, as like an old man, as like a post-apocalyptic grandpa, you know? Like sitting around the trash fire, like, gather round, kids, let me tell you about the 20 teens. We all thought we had social disorders. It turns out society was just crumbling around us. We had clean water coming out of the walls, but everyone was worried about a zombie apocalypse and what they would do, not realizing the biggest problem was gonna be diarrhea. None of you are gonna live to see your 30s, but at least you'll never have to work for Whole Foods, so that's... I used to work for Whole Foods. I still haven't written any jokes about it. Eventually it'll be funny, you know, watching all my friends get exploited while I made more money than I've ever made in my life just because I knew how to do Excel spreadsheets and they didn't. But one day I'll write some jokes about that. But yeah, man, Whole Foods just like, yeah, they paid off my student loans, which is another thing I'm ashamed of. Like, you know, I feel like a class traitor. Like my whole generation, that's like our curse, you know? Like we have tens of thousands of dollars worth of student loan debt, and I paid mine off, and I feel like if we were all Holocaust survivors, you know, and I came into the room one day just like, hey, is anybody else's tattoo fading? Am I the? I don't even remember. No. It's horrible. My final student loan payment ever. Well, because like I had 2 left, right, and I got the bill for the second to last one. And they were like, to pay off now would be $420.69. And I was like, whoa, nice. I had to do it. So, you know, I ate ramen for a month and I got a nice meme out of it that really, it fits, right? Because college was just a series of joints and like 5th grade sex humor. So, right? It's a nice way to cap that whole thing off and yeah. No, man, I work at an RV park now out on the end of town. And that's actually a really, really cool job. Like, it's a really good job, but like any job, the worst part is the customers. And like, man, you think Whole Foods customers are weird. Like, whew, RV people. Basically, they're all descendants of people who failed at the Oregon Trail, right? And they got like as far as Kansas, and Josiah died of dysentery, and well, we're from Kansas now. Like, that's how that went for them. And, you know, now they're doomed as the descendants of these people to roam the western United States in these updated Conestoga wagons, you know, these 40-foot land yachts with like embroidered steering wheel covers that say, drive like no one else is driving, you know? They're fun people, man. They used to come in when we had the mask mandate and they would argue with me for like 20 minutes about having to put their mask on. And then they'd be like, oh, well, now that I'm in Santa Fe, what should I do? I thought you motherfuckers did your own research, man. Come on. My whole life they've been telling me how I'm gonna burn in hell. Little did I know it's because they were gonna set the planet on fire and turn it into one, man. Fuck me, I guess God works in mysterious ways. They got me on that one. I did not see that coming. It's okay though, because I've been playing The Floor is Lava since I was like 5 years old, so as the water level rises, I could just kind of, stand up here, keep telling jokes, and everything will be fine. It's just fine. We're doing fine. I don't know. I don't think I'm a very good person. I call it being chaotic woke. I know in my head, I understand in my brain, I get that it's wrong to wish pain and suffering on other people, right? When someone doesn't get vaccinated and then they die of COVID, I understand in my head that that's not, but the heart wants what the heart wants. You know what I mean? Ultimately, I'm spending all of my energy just maintaining it benign assholes, because I have opinions, but I've learned, you don't need those, you don't need to, I have ADD, I went to therapy, because rage is my favorite emotion, you know what I mean? It makes you feel stronger than you actually are for a minute there. If someone's being stupid, asking you some stupid question is this butter gluten-free? It's butter! And then all of a sudden you're in charge again. It feels strong. So I went to therapy, right? And my shrink told me I had ADD, and I was like, fuck you, man, I don't have ADD. I'm so good at focusing. I focus so good. And I left, and I went home, and I started Googling, and I was gonna prove him wrong. And 2.5 hours later, I'm watching YouTube videos, and there's this TED Talk where this woman's talking about her son. You already know where this is going, because you probably have ADD. This woman's talking about her son with ADD, and how at school he's bad, but when he finds something he's really interested in, he goes down a rabbit hole and fuck! Guess I have ADD. Okay. It's weird. It's like a superpower sometimes, except the worst superpower. It's like having a photographic memory, except your drunk asshole friend is holding the camera, just taking pictures of random shit you don't need. Got no control over it ever. And oh man, it's rough. I think about things terrible things, and I can't stop sometimes. Do you guys know about the volcano under Yellowstone? Super volcano? It's gonna kill us all, right? I love shit like that I can't control. Oh man, I'll just sit there. Oh, I read about it, and I look it up. Do you guys know about it? Does everybody aware that we're gonna get blown off the face of the planet any day now by a volcano under Yellowstone? It's huge. It's hundreds of years overdue to explode. It's gonna kill us all. But here's the thing. We don't live in the primary blast zone. So when it explodes, we're not gonna die right away. We live in what's called the primary ash zone. So we're gonna choke to death on molten ash for a week. And that sounds terrible, right? That sounds awful. And so I looked it up, and I was like, well, where's the primary blast zone? Because I could move there, and basically Wyoming and part of Montana. So I was like, I'll take my chances with a week of molten ash. Opposed to spending any amount of time in Wyoming ever. Their speed limit is 85 miles an hour there because they know. They're just go, dude, get out, just go. Wyoming is the last of the American states alphabetically and in every other regard. It's the worst place. That's all I got about Wyoming. It's my Wyoming bit. Yeah, man, I don't think I'm a very good person, but I don't know, I do my best. The ADD makes me come up with some interesting things. Do you guys remember that song American Pie? Yeah. At the end when he says, I met a girl who sang the blues, and I asked her for some happy news. Isn't that the most fucked up boomer shit you've ever heard someone say to him? Hey baby, why don't you smile a little more? Here's a list of things that make me sad in the form of a 7-minute song. First on top of the list is how kids don't listen to real music no more. It's the national anthem of mansplaining. I still love the song though, right? You know that song, Rock You Like a Hurricane? Is it weird that it's written by a guy named Rudolph? Because Rudolph has never rocked anyone. Nobody named Rudolph has ever rocked anyone any kind of weather pattern, a warm spring gale, breeze. Rudolph will maybe rock you around the Christmas tree if you behave yourself for a minute. That's Rudolph. Imagine how incredibly obnoxious and self-righteous John Lennon would be on Twitter if he was alive today. It's easy if you try. Okay. I'm gonna tell you guys a little story and then I'll go home. By which I mean I'll go outside and smoke more weed. I went for a hike a couple weeks ago up on, Picacho Peak, just like goes right up. Yeah, it's a great little spot, right? Like, because you can go an hour all the way up and you have the most amazing view ever, and it's a good workout. Or you can go like halfway, and there's that sweet little overlook where you still have all of Santa Fe, and it's like barely uphill. It's like a half hour. It's nice. You can smoke a joint. So I'm climbing up the hill, and I get to the top. Or to that halfway point, and I'm lighting up my joint because nobody's ever fucking there, especially earlier in the year. This was like February, there's still a little bit of ice on the ground, so people are chicken shits. You can go anyway. So I get up there and I'm smoking my joint, and I turn the corner and there's a fucking dude sitting there. I'm trying to blow it out over here, and I look and he's like over here trying to kind of motherfucker, we're gonna be friends. So I sat down and I introduced myself to him. And, we're talking, and, my name's Pat, my name's, Miljen, like $1 million, motherfucker. Whatever, everybody gets one, you know what I mean? Like, everybody gets one. So we smoke our joints, and, he's finishing his up, and he's about to head up the hill. He starts to get up, and his foot slips on a little bit patch of ice. And we're right there in this precipice, and he's got a backpack, and he loses his back. He starts to go, and I'm going, and I'm fucking holding him, and we're fighting for a minute, and he gets his footing, and I bring him back. And we sit down, and we're panting, and it's intense, and we lock eyes, and he goes, "Thanks, Miljen." And I see him thinking, and I'm like, "Don't do this. Thanks a million," and I just shoved him off the fucking cliff because everybody gets one. Okay. You guys are really wonderful. Thank you for coming out tonight. Stick around for Kurt Fletcher coming up next. Give it up for your host, Isabel Madley.